Senator Biden, can you tell us something more about your visit in the Balkan?
I've come for three reasons. One, to determine how things are working here in Kosovo, whether or not there is a KFOR is doing the job it's supposed to do, and it is, in my view. Two, to meet with your political leaders here in Kosovo to determine what their expectations are, what their desires are, what they think the problems are. The second reason to come was I went to Belgrade to meet with the new leadership in Belgrade to assess whether or not they fully take responsibility for what has been done, at least in their name, if not by them individually, and to find out their attitude toward Kosovo, their attitude toward the Fry generally as they view it, and toward Bosnia. Would they honor Dayton, and do they mean it when they say it? And the third reason I came was to meet with a number of my old friends in Sarajevo. There was an election, as you know, there, and I am very bluntly dissatisfied with the three major parties, the HDZ, the SDS, all of them. But there is a coalition of a slight majority of non-nationalists who have the potential to begin to turn Bosnia back into the country it should be, a multi-ethnic. We came to fight for the right of a multi-ethnic country to exist in Bosnia. That's how we got here. We came here because we believe very strongly that the Albanians in Kosovo were being oppressed, that they're being treated unfairly, and that Milosevic was engaging and attempting to engage in a form of genocide.
Population here is very much worried after the new elections in the US and after some announcement that there exists a possibility to withdraw American forces from the Balkan. Which is your stand, I mean US official stand on this issue?
If I were speaking for President Clinton, who's been my ally, I've been his ally for 8 years and been a significant part of his commitment to the Balkans, I would say there is nothing to worry about. I don't know what the position of the new president will be. He's of a different party, a different political party than I am. Many people in his party had disagreed with me as I was calling for U.S. involvement. You may recall I'm the fella who argued for and introduced the law to say bomb Serbia. I was the one who thought that was the case, what should be done, and not some in the other party disagreed. But I can only say what I believe, not what I know. I believe this new administration will not withdraw support from Kosovo. Will stay, American troops will stay in KFOR as well as S4. That American money and support, as to the extent that it exists, will remain. But you have a very difficult task here, your political leadership in Kosovo. There's an overwhelming desire on the part of Kosovars for independence, for Albanians for independence. We understand that and we respect that. But I'm fearful if it is not done through a process of negotiation over time, if the rights of the small minority of Serbs that are left are not respected, then I believe there will be a withdrawal of support from America. I believe America will pull back. But my discussions with the political leaders here today have reassured me that it is their intention to deal with this question of independence as a process, to be negotiated over time while you're building institutions through free elections. If that's the case, I believe America, this new administration will say, we will keep our commitment and stay.
But how long this process might be, because as you know, the general elections are going to be announced for a couple of months.
Well, what I was saying to all three persons with whom I met today was that if the first act of a newly elected government or parliament were to declare independence, I think you would lose the support of this administration. On the other hand, if a newly elected government came along and said, our goal is independence, we insist upon it, but it's going to take time, then I think we could stay. But I want to make it clear, I do not speak for President Bush. I don't know. I saw the same conflicting signals in the election process that you all have seen. Some of his advisors are saying, pull down in the Balkans. Others are saying, stay put. I believe that the seasoned team of foreign policy experts he has will conclude, stay, stay. I will be pushing stay. I will be continuing to argue we must stay.
But will you have any kind of influence if you go and suggest to next president, to Mr. Bush?
Well, I may, because our Congress now, our Senate is split 50-50. And I am in charge of the 50% that relates to this issue. And so the president cannot fail to take my suggestion seriously. He's not required to accept it. But he has to get a lot of things done in the United States Congress.
Which might be the message to our viewers?
The message to your viewers is, one, the American people have an overwhelming admiration for the way you have fought, conducted yourself, and maintained your dignity. The reason why America has no interest in being here, other than guaranteeing your human rights. We don't care about raw materials, geographic gain, economic interest. It's one thing. We do not want ever to see again in Europe a group of people, merely because of their ethnic background, treated the way you were treated. And that's an important thing for the Kosovars to know, because American public opinion would change just as quickly if the next thing we see in the news are Orthodox churches being burned and pillaged, if the next thing we see in the news are Serbians living in Kosovo being massacred or murdered. So people should not misunderstand why the United States is here. That's why we are here. And it would change like that if the circumstance were reversed. The second message I would say is that the United States believes that the people of Kosovo are fully capable with our help and the help of Europe to become an integrated part of Europe. Our goal is to see the entire Balkans, for the first time in history, to be part of Europe, fully integrated.
How close it is?
Well, you are very far away from it. Slovenia is going to be part of it, to give you an example. Because Slovenia has established democratic institutions, Slovenia has an easier time of it. Slovenia did not have to suffer the ravages of war. You are further away. But the goal of the United States is everyone, from Bulgaria to Slovenia, from Romania to Montenegro, from Serbia to from the Yugoslavia, whatever it turns out to be, to Bosnia, to all be part of Europe. And there's a simple reason for that. We have learned that the only thing that can prevent another century of carnage in Europe, more wars, more killing, more slaughter than any other century, the only thing that can prevent that are democracies. Democracies that respect each other. And so you've got to become, our goal is, for you and others to become part of the family of nations that respects human rights, respects minority rights. We believe you do. You've been victimized by it. And so my message is, as far as I'm concerned, Joe Biden, we're staying. I believe this administration will stay. And you will receive the support of the United States as long as you continue to seek democratic solutions, negotiated outcomes, and respect for minorities. You will have our support. If that takes 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, keep in mind, we still have 100,000 American forces in Western Europe. 100,000. And people who say Americans don't have patience, Americans have been here in Europe for 50 years. We have patience. We have patience. As long as the expenditure on our behalf is consistent with the goals and values we value. We don't care about anything about your economic need or your economic gain for us. We don't care anything about strategic gain for us. We care about the value that minority rights be respected. I'll end with a story. I had an Albanian driver driving me last time I was here, about 10 months ago. And I had meetings for the whole day. And they were going to end at Fort Bonsteel. And Bonsteel was not quite completed yet. And so we were driving up this rutted road up on the hill to get to Bonsteel. And there was a guard house with a pike across the road to stop us, to check us. And as we rode up this muddy hill on a gray day, I tapped my Albanian driver on the shoulder. I said, "Look at that. That's America." And he thought I was talking about the great technological things we were doing. We were taking the top of a mountain off. We were building a city overnight. We were doing, he said, "Oh, great technology." I said, no. Don't look there. Look over there where those soldiers are at the checkpoint. And he looked. There was a Negro American, a black African American sergeant. There was a blonde-haired woman. There was a Chinese American boy. And there was a white Caucasian colonel. I said, that's America. That's what we value. And as long as you value it, we will support you. The moment you don't, we will leave.
Does it mean that the future is up to us and not to any possible
Precisely
radical
right.
change?
Precisely right.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.